I sent it to him and I was going to use it for the poster. He's like, holy shit, I was 18 in that picture. And it's like, yeah, man, he made his Cage Titans debut at 18. And now here he is 8 years later. It's like, oh, he's like a 26-year-old man now, like a 7-year-old man.
Coming into a stride.
So it's like, I don't know what his dynamic is. So anyways, I got the update. Douma is ready. So let's bring in the man himself and we'll find out for ourselves. There he is.
What's up, guys? Always a pleasure. You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. What's going on, John Douma? Welcome to
What's up, guys?
Titans.
What are you, laying in bed?
Yeah. I had to get in a quiet room. You guys told me to be in a quiet room. This is all I got.
Oh, it's all good, man. Works. Where the magic happens in the Douma household. So, Douma, you heard us. Are you gonna engage? I guess we're just gonna ask you straight on. I'm gonna ask you. Are you that type of guy you're gonna engage in the mental party warfare, or what is your mentality towards the rambunctious party? Like, he tries to get in your head, he tries to talk shit. He really stayed quiet though. But like, how is that angle playing in your mind going into this fight?
I don't know. It's like, I know Joe. Like, I've met him outside of us fighting. So like, I know he's such a nice guy, and like, I know his like kind of his game, like how he likes to get in your head. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not really that worried about it. I work, like, if you come down to Triforce any day, or like work in the shop that I work at, like, I'm constantly getting my balls busted. So it's like a normal thing for me. You know what I mean? I'm not too concerned about it.
Douma beat Mike Kimball. I'm a Douma fan. That's from Brett Casey. That was a big fight for you back. That was like the kind of like
pretty early in your pro career.
That was my that was my 5th pro fight. I got called up, and I didn't even know it was going to be on the main card when I signed the contract for it, and then they put me on. It was cool. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, that's the stride that you hit after winning the Cage Titans amateur title. That was back in my first ever commentary. You haven't fought for Cage Titans since. No. What is the message that you have for people that might have forgot that you actually held an amateur belt at Cage Titans back in the day? Everybody that's been fighting or sitting at Memorial Hall is kind of familiar with the party over the past couple of years. But you haven't fought for Cage Titans since 2016.
Yeah, man. What do you look back on that fight? Like, as far as like how I fight, not much has changed. You know, I'm a lot more technical and everything now. But I still, like you guys said, I still got that dog in me. Like, I still just love to fight, and I love it when things get ugly, man. It's just that's where I truly, like, that's when I'm happy.
I was talking about that last week. I forget. I think it was on like TikTok Tuesday with Ken. It's like, you're the type of guy that, like, unless you're bleeding, like, I feel like, or you get punched. Like, once you stop bleeding or you get punched in the face, it's like, all right, now you awoke and now you're ready to go. So I can't imagine you like. But that's pretty true, right? Like, once you get punched in the face, and then you're like,
yeah, it's like a mindset you get in, you know, like, it's, I don't know how to explain it, man, but when you got blood running down your face and everybody's cheering for you and you're in there, like, that's like some of the best times, dude.
Yeah. Well, I bet you might have forgot, but I didn't forget. He ruined so many cage matches when he was an amateur. He promised when you fought pro, you're going to fight for free. So we're ripping the contract up. This is
I was like, oh man, I hope you forgot about it. That's why I came back.
I'm ripping that contract right up right now. You're $0. That's it.
This is basically ADD medication. You don't forget it.
I don't forget. It's so funny because, you know, you're just a known bleeder. Like that's true, right? Even in the gym.
Yeah, I mean, I think majority of my fights, even amateur, I just do that. My nose just bleeds when you look at it. It's just the way it is. I don't know, but the fans love it, so I'm used to it by now. It doesn't bother me.
Well, we got a brand new cage mat for you to.
Yeah, please don't bleed too much on this because we just ordered the new one for March 18th. It's gonna be the first time.
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry in advance. Maybe it'll be Joe's blood this time. Maybe it won't be my blood. Let's think positively.
I like that. I mean, you've been asking for this fight. I remember running into you just at Lozon's, just whenever we would cross paths, and it feels like coming up on like a year. You've been just chirping about the party fight and just wanting that fight, whether it's him as an opponent or because of the run that he's been on, the belt that he has. But you've been wanting that for a while, and I don't think we've talked since it's come to fruition. But asking ye shall receive, I suppose. Wish
Yes,
is
sir.
fulfilled.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
drew you to want to fight?
He's been making some noise. I think he's just like an exciting guy. Like it's this. He's one of those guys that like you look forward to fighting him, and you know, I mean, the belt aside and all that, it's just I think it'll be a fun fight. Like our styles match up. It'll be a good time. You know, everybody's gonna enjoy watching it, and it's just something New England needs right now.
Absolutely. Is there a little redemption on the line for your teammate Richie Santiago?
Nah, I mean, a little bit. I guess there always is. You know, but like I said, like I met Joe after that, and like he's so cool after the fight that like I'm not mad at him for beating Richie. You know what I mean? He puts on a really good show, but he's a very nice guy. So it's not like I don't really feel like mad at redemption. He just did what he had to do.
It's funny you say that because like we don't like to blow up the party spot, but like we you know like people see him and they're like, oh man, he's this or that. And it's like he knows the cameras are on. That's the party persona. Yeah. Like yeah, he is outgoing and a little crazy, but he's genuinely a good dude. Even like Bruno, like he got into a little scuffle with Bruno, and then they're hugging and talking afterwards. Mm-hmm. Like we like to play that villain role, but like and play that up, but we all know the party outside as Joe Penafiel, and he is a nice guy, so it is hard. But he said to me a long time ago when he fought Pat Gilbride, he's like, I know what part of the show I am. I'm the out-of-stater. They're all fans of this guy because they all bought tickets to see, you know, the hometown guy. So I got to sell the fight in a different way. And he knew that he has to be the villain because he's the out-of-stater. He's the guy coming to your hometown to beat you up or your home region. He knew he had to play. So he played that up to that party persona kind of, you know, got brought up. And I think it does sell it because now people cheer him just as much as they used to boo him. I mean, were you a party fan or were you one of the booers?
It's hard for me to like. I'm not looking at it from the outside. Like I'm just looking at it as like always as like a potential next guy to fight. So like I really try not to get wrapped up in all that like fan of somebody or get excited for their career at my weight class, you know. So I mean I just
target on everybody. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I just sat back and watched, you know. He always intrigued me. You know, but I was kind of indifferent to like liking him or not liking him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just wanting to fight him, liking him as a matchup.
Exactly.
And I mean, being on that note, obviously in your weight class as a fighter, you're always having your eyes on everybody. Like, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you? Like, yeah. So it makes a ton of sense. This fight, I know Richie's been in my ear for a while, you know, and always like, hey, Douma wants this. I'm like, all right, listen, we'll try to pull it off. And I'm excited. Richie's your biggest supporter. I got to shout out to your teammate, Richie. And
good man, I love Richie.
Yeah, he's always like, dude, let's get Douma. What's it like training over Triforce? You guys got Delahaye fighting. You got Dylan Perry fighting. Yeah. You got Matt Souza. We just had Will Portillo.
Couple of debuters.
Sandy Munez.
Sandy.
Dude, I think there's 6 of you now, 6 or 7.
We got guys fighting the 2 days before. So like literally every fighter in our gym right now, except for maybe 2, has a fight coming up. So it's like perfect time to fight. You know, everybody's just kind of all on the same page and we're getting ready for it around the same time. So it's nice. Like it's real intense over there.
A war zone down at Triforce right now. Everyone's gearing
yes,
up
sir.
for the same week.
Yes, sir. We're all getting moody now because everybody's cutting weight now. We're all starting to drop down, so everybody's moody. We all hate each other. Like, it's fun.
No, and sparring's probably wrapping up, so you're moody, you're hungry, and you don't even get to punch anybody.
Yeah, yeah. We got one more time to hit each other in the face. So we're all gonna make it count.
There you go. Well, please don't hurt anybody too much because we do have the fight next weekend. That's like when people start sparring. Like I remember famously going to Sid Yatong back in the early
Oh,
days,
yeah.
and they do a marathon like
Yeah,
every
Monday
the
nights.
Monday before. Yeah, and
Yep.
I would go there like the week of the fight to drop off tickets or pick up medicals, whatever, and I'm like, I can't even sit here because I'm just watching these guys kill each other for 10 rounds.
Yeah,
And I'm like, dude,
yeah, that's
I'm
famous.
watching my like main event and the co-main event. I'm like, please don't have anything happen.
Oh my goodness. I can imagine you just having a conniption.
Oh yeah, it was scary. But who on your team? Who's who's the guy that we should be watching for? Like on your entire team, as Triforce, this guy. Obviously, you're gonna say everybody, but like somebody that
Dude,
maybe Cage
yeah.
Titans hasn't.
It's like picking your kids. I mean, um, obviously, like in the pro ranks, Shane is like he's up and coming. He's such an athlete, man, and he's such a nice guy. Like he's one of the best guys I know. Um, he's gonna make he's gonna make waves. Santi, like all the amateurs are so good. I can't pick one, but like you gotta just tune in to all the Triforce matches. They're all gonna be good.
Yeah. I'm interested because obviously we know Sandy. He's actually on the poster for the daytime. I'm looking forward to his fight, Dion's follow-up fight. And then you have some new names. Souza, who's making his debut with his
Yeah,
overall debut, I'm pretty sure. And then Will,
yeah,
who is from Texas, and he's fought once before, but he's making his
yep,
debut with Cage Titans. So I'm intrigued to
yeah,
see him. Yeah.
yeah. It's super
And then you
like
have,
for like early amateurs, like they give me a hard time. Like they're really legit. So just really technical guys, smart guys. So just keep an eye on them.
yeah. Let me let's jump out of the fight game for a little while. You're an avid fisherman. Uh,
Yes, sir.
what's it like? Like, is it the calmingness? What is the intrigue?
Uh,
Is it you grew up in the water? What? Walk me through that.
yeah, I grew up in it. My dad was always taking me out, and me and my brother really got big into it. I actually like my really one of the only guys I fish with is Andy Aiello, Raging Korean. He's fought for you guys a bunch of times.
Yeah,
It's not like it. The way we do it is like it just you don't think about anything else. Like even when me and Andy go out, we never talk about fighting. Like it's such a good way to disconnect from all that craziness. And it's like fighting where like when you're doing it and you're out there and like we fish from the surf, so like you have to be like 100% concentrated on that. So it kind of like ties into fighting almost like that, but it makes you where nothing else matters. You can't think about anything else. And when you got a busy schedule and you're training all the time and everything hurts, like it's just a great way to get away.
it's funny you bring up Andy because Andy's the one that kind of talked to me about you guys. He shared a story. I or like you almost were like in a die, or it was either him or you,
Yeah,
and like because like
yeah. We were out in
you
Cutty Hunk
touched
Island,
me on it.
and so the way we fish is we fish like we go out in the middle of the night and we put wetsuits on and we have special boots out. It's like so we'll swim out into the surf and fish off of these rocks. So me and Andy are out in Cutty Hunk, and Cutty Hunk is like a desolate island. There's nothing out there, like no barely any people. You got to walk everywhere. It's probably like midnight, and Andy goes out like probably I don't know, 100 yards to the right of me, and he's trying to get out on this rock, and there's a hurricane offshore, so the waves are crazy. So I lost Andy for like I don't know how it might have been like 5 minutes, but it felt like 3 hours, and I just complete darkness, didn't know where he was. Now I'm like, we don't have our phones on us, we don't have anything, so I'm like, what do I do? Like, I'm just gonna leave without Andy now. Finally, he ended up popping up, and he's a stubborn bastard. And we actually had a pretty good night out of it, but that was worrisome.
Yeah,
I'm pictured if there's anybody that would be undeterred by getting rocked by hurricane waves rolling through in the middle of midnight and just like show up like nothing. It's Andy Aiello. Like show up like
Yeah,
nothing happened.
yeah,
Panicking.
yeah,
He's like,
man.
"Oh, what's up?"
yeah. He was telling me the story, and he was like, It was one day at Lowe's it's like maybe a few months ago. I had to lose my fucking rod, and he was just like, but I was gonna die, so I had to like. Maybe that was a different story. Maybe I don't know.
He lost like a $1,500 rod once, and then ended up finding it the next morning. It was like a miracle. It was just he's nuts.
He said that like the place that you go. The other thing is he won't talk about where they go. Like
no,
one of the secret fishing spots, like one of the secret surfing spots from Tito from Rocket Power.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
Exactly.
Yeah. But he told me that he found a guy that like was like, hey, everything that like the way the current goes and like this is where your rod would be. And he was like, I went to that exact spot by this like random guy told me based on the currents and all this. And he goes, it was fucking right there. It blew his mind.
Yeah.
And just like you said, it was like miracles.
Yeah.
What's the biggest fish you caught?
Biggest was 39 pounds striped bass. I've caught a mako shark and stuff, but like when we do that, we like really fish for only striped bass. So the biggest one I've caught was 39 pounds.
You cook it?
No, let it go, man. You got to think about the future.
So you're a catch and release guy.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Catch a 40-pound fish and let it go.
Take a picture with it?
Yeah. It's on my Instagram.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check it out. Oh, that's so fun. Yeah. So yeah, he would, dude. Andy and I one day.
It's like taking an Instagram picture of your dinner plate and then sending it back.
Andy and I one day we were into it for like an hour or something. He gets really into the fishing.
Yeah.
I was just like amazed. He loves it.
Yeah, he's very passionate. Yep.
I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see it.
Well, before we let you go, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the fight of the ever between Brian Rossi. Granted, for a lot of fans, they might not remember 7 years ago or 6 years ago, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Bring me back to that fight. What was it like being in such a war like that? And then further expand what it taught you as an amateur about yourself as a fighter.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in that fight, first 2 rounds didn't go as planned. And I think like, so I finished it in the third. So I went back and I was a pool of blood in the end, like at the end of the second round. So I sit back on the stool and my coach is like, what do you got to lose? Like, what are you going to get punched in the face now? Like, just go out there and do what you do and stop trying to make all these things happen and just fight and do what you do. And then I did and ended up winning that fight. It just taught me that, like, at that point in my career, I was a high school wrestler before that. So I was going back to my old ways, and I learned to just trust in MMA and my jiu-jitsu and my boxing. And, that carried me on, I think, through a lot of my professional career, was just have trust in myself.
Yeah, dude, I remember that
to this
fight
day.
That was just an insane fight. Like
that was the first night commentating. I did it on like a couple hours notice. I was never going to do it again, but I still have that shirt. There's blood stains on it still to this day. Richie and I showed up wearing the same outfits, and then that fight happens, and it was like that 9-minute stretch of you and Brian Rossi just beating the absolute shit out of each other. The heart that you showed
even the worst.
That wasn't the worst.
One was bad. No, the Bobby Baker one, my second fight with you guys. The first punch in, I broke my orbital, and nobody knew. I didn't even know. I didn't know until 3 days later. I had to get emergency surgery. So when I broke my orbital and it split and it caught my eye muscle, so I couldn't move one of my eyes, but obviously the other one was moving. So everything was double vision. I was like, that one was bad, man. I was in really rough shape for that. Nobody knew, but like it, obviously you couldn't tell, but wow. That one I had to gut out more.
I didn't know that.
I learned to get through the Rossi fight through getting through that one.
Did you know at the time, like, were you like, dude, this is a weird amount of pain, or just adrenaline's pumping?
No, adrenaline just kicked in, and I didn't know for like 3 days after. So I went, the doctor afterwards, because I was still in like, don't tell anybody you can't see mode, because I was telling all the commissioners when they were, and the doctor when they came in and between the rounds, I was like, oh yeah, I could see fine, but I was seeing
Yeah.
double. I didn't mention that.
How many fingers am I holding up? 7.
So I went back and I was like kind of in a daze after, when you see the doctor. And he looks at it and he can't tell obviously. So he's like, oh, you got to scratch cornea, go see the doctor, go see your ophthalmologist on Monday or Tuesday, whenever. I think he wasn't there on Monday, so I went Tuesday. And then he sent me back home. Then I went the next day and I was like, man, this double vision isn't going away. And he's like, oh, that's a big problem. Sent me to another doctor, sent me to another doctor, sent me to another doctor who sent me to the ER. And then from there, I had to go see this special surgeon in Columbia University in New York City, because nobody else could do the surgery. It was like a big deal. So I was dealing with that pain for like 3-4 days of just like nonstop.
Wow.
Couldn't see, just constant pain every time I moved my eye.
Still doing it.
Dude, you said at the beginning of this, got that dog in you. No shit, man. Like, that's crazy. I wish we had like Table Titans back then. We would be talking about like that's something that no one knows, man. And that would have back then. So I think the moral of the story is go back and watch John Douma versus Baker. Is it on YouTube? I know the Rossi fight's on YouTube.
Yeah, that one's on YouTube. I think it's still on YouTube.
Oh,
man, I don't want
Baker
people to see that though. That was my second fight, dude. Everything I did was so ugly. Like looking back at it, I was just like, how did I even know? How was I even fighting back then? So don't watch it. Don't watch it for any I'm not that guy anymore.
Well, I mean, it would still be fun to watch it and like kind of remind like yourself, like you're such a badass tough fighter. Back then, you might not have been the skills you are today, but you knew you had that fight in you then. And then obviously in the past 7 years, 8 years, you've developed skills to go along with the toughness because you kind of had to have that toughness base. Or some guys are super skilled and just not, they're pussies and they're not super tough. And you can have all the skills in the world if you're not tough.
Yeah, I got the tough thing. That's
you got the tough,
no doubt,
for sure.
No doubt
well,
it.
The party's supposed to call in at 8:45. If he calls in now, maybe I can get like 2 minutes just to have you guys in passing him say hello to you, or you can say hello to him because he was supposed to call in. And then if not, we'll just let you run. And then, do you have any more questions before the party comes on? Or?
No, man, just stoked to have you back at Cage Titans. Stoked to have you in this title fight. I know we've talked about it a couple of times face to face, and this is just one of those circle it. No doubt about it, going to be fireworks. And just another thanks for that fight with Rossi, because that was like the fight that cemented it. I never want to not be cage side for the fights again after watching that. This day is still one of the craziest fucking fights I've ever seen face to face.
Hey, you retired,
really made that. Like the commentary was spot on for that, man. You guys did an awesome job with just going back and watching the video, listening to your excitement like that. That really makes it awesome.
I listened back to it and it's just fat, drunk me just yelling, trying to be louder than the crowd. I can't hear myself. I'm just I sound fat. I hate it, but it's great. Honestly, it was. But before the passion was insane.
Before that,
screaming.
We used to never do live commentary. Yeah. We used to film the fights. Probably even back when you first started. We used to do DVDs. We used to film the fights, and then I would go to the video crew's house, the video director, whatever you want to call him. I would go to his house and watch the fights by myself in his office and commentate over it and pretend like I didn't know what the fuck was going on. They're like, who win? It'd be like a week or two later, I'd go there and just watch it on TV, and I'd pretend I didn't know who won or all that, and I'd try to be excited. And I had no commentary partners. It was just me. Then that was the first show that we had live commentary, was that fight with Ross.
And it wasn't even supposed to be Richie and I.
I remember the DVDs before that. Yeah, so that was I want to say 4th or 5th fight with you guys. So all those ones before, you had to buy the DVDs back in the day. It was fun. It was really good old days, man.
Dude, it's crazy how far it's come. Definitely. Well, the party